Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Fortmaster, and welcome back to another Ask Error 87 reaction, and this is why it's important that Ramb is British. So, yeah, that is definitely a random video topic right there. I mean, I never really thought that much about why Ramb was British. I mean, it was just sort of one of those things that it took me a second to realize what was going on with the dialogue in-game, but then I just sort of went with the flow. I wouldn't think of, I mean, granted, that does make him stick out a bit more from the other cast, because, again, given that the game, Deltarune takes place in North America, I'd presume, everybody we've met, including most of the Darkners, speak with, like an American, or at least, a North American English accent. So I mean, thinking about it, like, again, it's one of those things I never really thought of. So, the reason why it's important really doesn't come to me at all, so, yeah, I want to see what this video is actually about, so, yeah, let's actually get this thing started. So, yeah, of course, as always, original videos linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day, and if you like this video or any other video that I make, I'd very much appreciate it if you gave the video a like and subscribe to my channel, because over 3/4 of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, and I'd very much like that to change, because my next big goal is to hopefully hit 10,000 subscribers sometime in the future. But yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we?
It's Ramb. Has anyone seen Ramb?
Ram? No, I haven't. Is he alright?
Would you like to? So I ate good in chapter 3. How about you?
It was a very good
Business
chapter.
First, then pleasure. I know this is pedantic, but I've been seeing a lot of otherwise great analysis about Ramb that don't quite get that Ramb being British isn't a simple, quirky, throwaway nonsense detail about him, and I suspect that that's because the majority of people making it are American. He is not British just for the sake of it. There is a really important reason for that actually says a lot about him as a character and why he ended up in this situation.
Honestly, I mean, granted, I'm Canadian. Actually, wait, give me a second here. Stand up. There we go, Liberty Prime, keep up the good fight.
Communism!
But yeah, I'm still trying to rack my brain on, like, reasons why Ramb, basically a power bar, like an extension power bar, being British would be important, or why he'd be British in the first place.
I originally wrote this entire thing out as a reblogged response to this Tumblr post, but I realized—
Wait, what'd that say? Deltarune is great because I never thought we'd get a character ever more confusing than, like, Spamton and Sham and stuff, yet even above all the baffling things happening in 3 and 4, this effing guy still takes the crown for me.
But I realized that this was going to need a visual aid, and also, I just wanted to make a video about it. What's the deal with Ramb then? Why the heck does he look like that? You see, most of the plug boys we see in chapter 2 are not only visibly supposed to remind you of a kitty cat, they are distinctly designed off of the type B outlet that most Americans would be familiar with. Note that Ramb's eyes, while still rectangular, are rounder and softer thanks to the eyebrows and beauty marks, / eyelashes, / smile lines, / crow's feet, / however you want to interpret those pixels.
Yeah, because I know the, British plugs are very different from, North American plugs. Plus, because, one, they're upside down, and two, they're also just much bigger. So you'd think, Ramb being, if he was supposed to be, like, I wouldn't imagine him being, like, an actual British plug, because, like, one, why would anybody in hometown actually have one of those? And two, his face would probably be upside down and in a different shape or something.
Obviously, we see a variety of expressions from the Plug Boys throughout the game, which seem to primarily take inspiration from type A, B, G, and possibly eye outlets. However, the primary base that they are is a type B outlet because hometown is supposed to be reminiscent of Americana. Ramb, however, is designed to look and be like the Chapter 2 Plug Boys, but different because he isn't an American outlet. He is a Type K power strip that Chris and Azzy stole from the library.
Type K? Right, yeah, I do remember he came from the library, but I've never heard of a Type K outlet before.
Hi, Chris, love, it's me, Ramb. You and your brother took me here from the library. How are they all? Queen still bossy? Swatch still got a mohawk? That salesman. Chris, are you sure you're feeling normal? Well, you are talking to a power strip, so maybe not.
Type Ks are distinct because of the roundness of their first two prongs and the semicircle curvature of the third, giving them that signature smile that Type Bs inherently lack because of how their plugs are shaped. They are also, as you may have guessed, very much European. While they're primarily used in Denmark, as pointed out to me by my friend Strange and Interesting, they and I both reckon that a Danish accent would be harder to do in a written format like that, so for the intents of him seeming other, the British, and specifically London, perhaps Cockney accent is perfect.
So, what was that? Type K plug? Yeah, okay, that Type K. What's a British plug look like? Yeah, again, very different. Ground plug is at the top and stuff like that. So obviously not the... I mean, unless you turn it upside down, not that good for making a face. But, like, why? Again, going back to the Type K, why would the library have something like that? Like, at all?
I personally grew up using Type K and other circular European plugs, so my working theory is Toby primarily wanted to use a plug type that was distinctly from Europe first and foremost, and had the furthest possible expression from a Type B. Just look at that winning smile, huh? He's short, he's fat, he's got a little bit of stubble, he's shopkeeper. He's very nice and whoopee, and he calls you love. The library plug boys are those dozens of little cousins and nieces and nephews and nibblings that you have so many of that they all start to look identical and blur together in your head. They're definitely important, and they serve their purpose in your life, and you love them and adore them, but you just, for the life of you, can't differentiate one after the other. Ramb, though, is your, or to make this metaphor far more accurate, Chris's loving uncle who doesn't get to see them a lot, but still pulls them aside at the family gathering so they can sit on the porch together. He doesn't make them talk, but because he knows they don't like being around other people, he still tries really hard to show that he's interested in what they've got going on in their life. He's very invested in what a Smashing Fighters and a Fortnite is, and the two franchises aren't constantly getting mixed up in his head. He swears. Instant and total endearment from me.
Yeah, that's it. That is adorable.
The most important thing to stress, though, is that Ramb isn't British and a dog just for the sake of it. He is designed like
dog-like
that
ears,
because while Type Bs and Type Ks are visually very similar, they are inherently incompatible.
Yeah.
You cannot put a European plug into an American outlet and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, one, just from the size, I think the Type K is visually bigger, so, like, you wouldn't even be able to, like, stretch out the prongs of a Type B to fit in, and then also vice versa, because, squeeze them in, and just, again, the 3 months I took for electrician school, I know that stuff is not, good to do.
For a variety of reasons. Primarily because you will probably fry the thing you're trying to plug in.
Also, again, the whole different differences in, like, current that different countries use.
To explain this as simply as possible, British and other European plugs are created in such a way where they include their own fuse, which is why the head is so much bigger. Inherently, they are simply a far more powerful and superior device because of how they are made. He is also very portable because of this, and far more potent. Power strips are supposed to allow you to put more things in them and to be carried around from point A to point B. As you can imagine, though, this is only the case if there's actually something for them to plug into.
Yeah, for all the talk of, him being better than the other plug people, I mean, in North America, he's basically useless unless you get him an adapter. And then several other adapters for other things to plug into him. Why is he here?
Whoever ordered Ramb, and my money is possibly Ms. Boom, accidentally bought the wrong type of power strip.
Which, again, so you have to think. So Miss Boom is obviously an older woman. But at the same time, if she, you'd think it'd be, easier just to go to the store or something to buy them. But assuming she bought it online, how far did she have to go out of her way to buy a power strip from a completely different country with a completely different, set of plugs? You'd think that it'd be easier just to go, again, given that everything hints towards, Deltarune being taking place, in basically present day, either going, on a website for, Home Depot or Lowe's or just Amazon and just buying a normal plug. Buying something that wrong seems to just, she had to work to be that wrong.
That's also probably why no one from the cyber world ever said anything about him before or after Chapter 3. We can even see this foreshadowed by the Spampton sweepstakes and its 2025 update. What's the URL allowing us to access the green room page? /Ram. There's no hint of his presence in the green room, including his shop, which is so prominent in the actual game itself, unless you click on it. And this is where we get a hint of Ram's involvement and a hint of Ram's own fate in the game itself. No one will shed a tear for him. Almost like he no longer serves a purpose.
And it's one of those things, and I've pointed out before about how weird the Chapter 3 Dark World was for the whole fact that, Darkners were seemingly turning to stone either much earlier or for no reason at all. But with Ramb, I mean, the whole idea that he never, the whole idea that, a Darkner can extend the time that before they start turning to stone in a Dark World by, fitting in more. Again, the whole thing with, with rules and trying to be a pirate or stuff like that in Chapter 2. Being just inherently different to a point that you're useless. Man, that is just sad.
No. Almost like he vanished without a trace. This seemingly very small detail about his accent is actually one of many ways Toby gives us an indicator of him not belonging. And to be able to cement it in this way by accent and character design alone is so good, I'm going to explode. He's supposed to be a shopkeeper, but that job was delegated to a vending machine because Tenna didn't want him handling points. He's supposed to work the green room, but he quit via a phone call that we only hear one side of from Tenna. He's supposed to be in the computer lab, but no one noticed or cared that he went missing. Nobody mentioned him in Chapter 2. Nobody mentions him after you go to your castle town in Chapter 4. He has all of the makings of a secret boss, talking about freedom, chaos, and remarking about big shots, and facilitates play via a game. Games are supposed to be fun. Don't let it feel like a job, okay? And yet, he doesn't give you a shadow crystal. No, that's for the real secret boss. He doesn't give you an item. That's for the other real secret boss. Unless you count any of the bows. Something, someone, meant to be extremely helpful, deprived of a use.
Honestly, that's the thing, like, Ramb, like, he is a really sad character, and I'd love to, like, to be able to meet him again in-game. Like, again, like, we see the other Darkners we've met along the way, like, in Castletown. And there's the whole thing where, like, yeah, they say, like, oh, you can't take any of the Darkners from home because, you know, Toriel would notice. But evidently, like, I don't think she noticed Ramb missing an unused, incompatible power strip. Come on, Chris, take Ramb to the Castletown. He deserves some friendship.
Jesus Christ, Toby's good at making characters.
Yeah.
If you want to take things even further, and I know you do, we can also apply this to how he's foiled by other characters in the series. The only Freedom character without an accompanying boss fight. The only shopkeeper that never turns up in Castletown with us again.
The only shopkeeper without a shop.
Who cares about some old plug anyways? That guy sucked and he never fit in, and I'm so glad he's dead, Chris. The only thing he ever did was talk about how much he loved you. Also,
Just thinking about it, I'm playing around with different ideas to put in the thumbnail, and I just keep, like, I'm constantly thinking about just putting in, like, constant screaming.
so, here's the real fun miscellaneous things to note. Ramb and Sans are parallels of each other. First times they show up in their respective home bases. They both say similar things and get the exact opposite responses.
How about the usual?
I'll take the usual.
A foil is when something or someone completely contrasts another character to better highlight both of them. The only difference is that this was an immediate hit at Girlby's while completely bombing at the green room, and so everyone thinks Sans is funny and a pleasure to talk to and can't wait for him to show up, while apparently the Pippins in the green room were waiting for the very second Ramb died so they could trash talk in front of him to the most important person in the entire world to him. What the hell? Forget.
God, that is so depressing. Ugh. Why does Ramb have to be so depressing? Why did they have to do him so dirty?
I had a little ego. I'd have a journey to the center of the earth-sized ego if someone else hated me and called me useless while this one kid was playing toys with me. The guy did nothing wrong. Okay, well, he did let Chris play toys with the Shadow Mantle holder, but that's fine. It was just a game. It's fine. It was just a spot of fun. It's fine. That doesn't mean there isn't a place where Sans isn't immediately taken in like he was in Grillby's now, was there? He's not exactly the easiest guy to like, and he can be annoying when he really wants to be. What happens when a guy like that doesn't really seem to care about the people around him or really have an attachment to anything? Bingo. I'm not saying Ramb is Sans, I'm just saying for the sake of literary analysis that Deltarune, Sans, and Ramb are both outsiders that aren't well established in their community. It's just interesting. Smiles. And now, a worm from our sponsor.
My dad was an indie game.
Moving on to the purely hypothetical. A field in which I greatly excel. We've got the potential werewire situation. Would Ramb even be capable of turning into one? And
again, incompatible plugs, so I don't think so. Unless Queen got an adapter for her werewires. Which, I mean, again, knowing Queen, maybe she does.
And if he did, what would he look like? I'm going to quote what Spear Tears wrote as a reply on my original post on this because I found the thought interesting. There's only a few ways Ramb would really work as a werewire, and one of them would be a sort of Ouroboros. A Ramborous, if you will. Because kids are always joking about plugging power strips into themselves for infinite power. Him being an incompatible type of plug from everyone else at hometown just cements the concept so much more.
Ouroboros. So how would that work, though? I mean, he doesn't have... I mean, I know he is a power strip. But, like, does that mean, like, he secretly has a tail that he's hiding and he didn't plug it into his own face? And that would cause him to go, like, werewire? Or, like, what would happen?
The other, and this one is a far sillier addition, I will admit, is that I believe since the far more feline-appearing Type B plug boys back in Chapter 2 turn into, well, werewolf wires, wouldn't the opposite be the same for Ramb? What I'm proposing is a Ramb boss fight where you have to beat a giant fluffy vampire cat boy.
Oh god.
So, the $1,000,000 question. Why was this so easily missed? If I was able to pick up that Ramb was a Type K plug so soon as I walked into the green room, then why are people still drawing him as a Type B all the time?
I mean, lack of exposure. I mean, I don't know a lot about other plugs. Again, North America, Canada, so the most I have experience with is just, you know, standard North American fares. I've never, apart from what I've seen in media, I've not really had any experience with other, like, plug models. So, plus, I mean, with the experience that, oh yeah, Deltarune takes place in North America, and with all the other plugs we saw in, like, Chapter 2, like, again, like, it doesn't make sense for there to be a plug of a different type. Like, how does that even happen?
I think it has a lot to do with familiarity. I didn't grow up in Denmark, but I did see a lot of what the average person might consider uncommon plug types growing up, and I guess that just endeared me to them a lot.
How, though? I'm just, like, where were you growing up that you had familiarity with many different plug types?
The little smiley face, it's just a cute little guy. But the actual answer is a simple, sad, people don't get to travel a lot anymore. This means that a lot of the American portion of the Deltarune fandom have no idea what a European plug type looks like, and thus would have absolutely no frame of reference to connect in their heads that this, Ramb, equals this, Type K. I hope this was a fun little broadening of horizons for those of you who assumed that all plugs were standard worldwide, but it just serves as a reminder that your real-world biases can never truly be shaken off, even...
I mean, I never assumed... I mean, I know that, you know, different countries have different plugs. I mean, hell, I mean, other countries have different wavelengths of electricity. I think, like, remember correctly, I know North America is 60, Europe is, like, 50 hertz. And then, like, Japan is, like, a weird, like, half of the island is one and then half the island is another.
into your escapism. And that is why it's important to learn what you can, combat it with knowledge, and course correct accordingly. But hey, as a little plug man would say, for yet another video in my catalog.
Games are supposed to be fun. Don't let it feel like a job. Alright?
At the end of the day, games like Deltarune feel even more fulfilling to me because of the real-world knowledge I can apply to them. I hope I was able to help you all learn something today too. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a middle-aged Type K power strip to daydream about. Have a nice day.
Out of context, that is a very odd statement.
And remember, I can do what I want forever.
Where was that from? I think I've seen it before, but I honestly can't remember it. But yeah, I mean, again, again, thinking about it, it does make more sense that, you know, oh, the only character we've ever met that actually speaks with an accent would technically be from a different country. But again, like, I had never considered him being a different kind of plug for the simple fact that how, like, just the concept of, you know, you have, like, somehow finding a plug like finding a power strip for just a completely different model of plug is just so weird. But again, the whole idea that, and again, that does add more context to the whole thing where he's so excluded from everything, because I mean, thinking about it, when I played Chapter 3, I just always assumed that, because he wasn't like a normal plaything, like either cards or dice or, video games on the TV, he was a power strip. That was why he was kind of excluded from everything. But the idea that he's excluded because he's literally from a different country, and he's like just so different, that makes so much more sense now. God. But yeah, again, another very good video from Ask Error, and yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to be it for now. So yeah, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.